Middle of the week, middle of the day. What am I doing here? Other than listening to cool music. Hey, everybody. It is Jeff DeVerter. I am the Chief Technology Evangelist here at Rackspace Technology. And we are here not with one of our fancy Cloud Talk Lives, but with our Rackspace Live. Guys, there's some really cool stuff going on around Rackspace. You know, we like to pop in every now and again on a Wednesday around 12:30 Central Time, which is, of course, where we are now, and tell you all about it. Now, I've got a great guest for you today. We're going to talk about cloud operations. But first, as always, these are interactive conversations. So introduce yourself in the comments, down below, over to the side. Malkit, I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sure, is the first one here. So glad that you are here. Thanks so much for being here with me today. This is going to be it's going to be fun. I can't wait to get into the content. But before we do, I want to, we're going to do a little bit of news like we tend to do. And if I can get my slides to advance, there we are. Hey, look at that. That's the Rackspace offices, folks. We've had an amazing week around here. First of all, we bought a company over in Singapore, a company called Just Analytics. And of course, they are in all things analytics. They are in all things AI and ML, and pretty incredible. Gives us some really great data capabilities over in what we call APJ, Asia Pacific Japan region. And so we can go a lot deeper there. It deepens our commitment and in that space, and of course grows things up, which we love. Hey, look, there is an article if you want to go read that press release, you can. And Happy New Year, sir. All right, there's other news. Press releases today that BT, or British Telecom, has selected who? Rackspace to be their cloud provider, specifically in the private cloud space, but all kinds of amazing services that we're going to provide for them. And I really hope it's going to be exciting for what comes of that. It's been a year and a half in the making on that. And we're also very excited around here that had happened. So I know we get a lot of Rackers who watch this. So congratulations to you, Rackers, for everything you've been doing. Hey, we've got somebody here from Kenya, and you may be my first Kenyan who's come to the party. So thanks so much for being here. Hey, let's talk other news. Now, yesterday I talked about this a little bit, but it's such a great kind of bridge into the conversation I had with our guest today that I wanted to just chat for a second about it. And hey, Chris, glad to see you in the live as well. But hey, David Lithicum wrote a really interesting article, came out mid-December, and it says the future of cloud ops, big challenges and possible solutions. But I wanted to talk a little bit about those challenges because my guest today is going to help kind of shed some light on how we help do that sort of stuff. So, hey, we got somebody from a Racker from Germany. Glad that you are here as well. Benjamin, that's my youngest son's name. So you and me, we're buds. All right. So here's what David said about these challenges in cloud operations. First of all, the lack of available cloud skills. These are hard skills to find. Trust us, we know. We're hiring hundreds of them right now. And we're actually even taking some of our, what we would call a level 1 or level 2 system administrator and running them through a multi-month program to turn them into cloud engineers and ultimately cloud architects. They're hard to find. Not a lot of companies have, a couple thousand of these level 1 folks that we can transform into cloud architects. Another is a lack of static budget. Guys, this melts the brain of the finance team in understanding when and where, what the cloud's going to be, what their expenses are going to be in the cloud from a support point of view. It's challenging. Another point is the rise of ransomware attacks, these rising security threats related to cloud operations and people just doing what needs to be done to these environments, not getting done. It's slowing people down. It's challenging what we think of as operations, and specifically cloud operations. Now, also is this swift move to a utility-based consumption model. We've been doing this stuff for a while. And it's still hard for some folks. So, hey, with that, everyone, that's what David Lithicum had to say about it. We can share that article out. You can go read it. It was in yesterday's Cloud Talk Live. If you haven't already subscribed to Cloud Talk, you can do it anywhere Cloud Talk or podcasts are found. or just go back and watch the video from yesterday. Philip Wyatt's here. Philip's my new best friend over at Zscaler. They do amazing work over there. If you guys aren't familiar with Zscaler, I encourage you to go check them out. They do cool stuff. Speaking of ransomware and security challenges, also Lawrence from the UK. Glad that you are here. It's late enough in the afternoon for you to have a pint. Canada's here. Joseph is here, a UK racker. So glad that you're here. All right. Well, now what I want to do is bring up. Yeah, there he is. There's Ray Quinones. Now, Ray and I have known each other almost since, I think we both started the same year, about 12 years ago. 2008 is when I started. But why don't we go ahead and bring Ray up? Ray is a senior manager over our solution architecture team and doing some amazing stuff. And Ray is live almost just on the second floor, but where that picture was that I was using before. Ray, welcome to Rackspace Live. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jeff. It's great joining out of San Antonio here at our headquarters in the castle. It's our food court sign right there. And the slide that you were actually, your picture, the top of that, the slide's right over here.
That's right. Now, somebody might be wondering why a corporate office has a big food court sign. Not a lot of people realize that our corporate office in San Antonio is inside of an old mall. Now, we've refurbed and fancied it up a lot, but we kept some of the cool 1980s and 1990s mall stuff, like the big food court sign. Kind of neat stuff out there. Ray, you've been at Rackspace as long as I have. Was 2008 your starter year, or were you in and around then?
Right around there. I mean, it's been a journey. Like it's just like blink and wait. We hit 12 years.
How did that happen? I don't even know.
Man, tell you, starting in the.
What was your first job at Rackspace 12 years ago?
Man, 12 years ago. It was I started our data point location across San Antonio. Then we moved from there here to the castle as a lead gen specialist. So when that chat with it was myself and my team, that's my first job here that started that.
That was Ray back there typing, giving you those answers. So you and a lot of other people started in meager's the wrong word, very, very junior positions. And now look at you. You're leading solution architecture for us over in our Anika division and crushing it.
It's amazing. I'm glad to be in the Anika world, glad to have been with Rackspace and love the space we do and what we work in with the team.
Hey, well, what do you like about it over there on the inside the solution architecture team over at Anika?
Well, I may be slightly biased, but AWS is my domain. So AWS is where I focus, and that's the beauty behind it. I have a team of amazing customer solution architects that are paired up with our Anika account executives, and their goal is to be truly customer obsessed and run and focus what we can do to take our customers where they're at, where they're going, what they want to do, how they want to get there, and all day in, day out. It's amazing. I have an awesome team that backs that up.
Well, and you heard me talk about that news article that David Lithicum wrote, and he talked about the challenges that people are seeing in cloud ops. And I would imagine as you heard me read through them, they were of no surprise to you. Can't find people was the first one.
Absolutely. I mean, we see that day in and day out. I'm so glad you mentioned our program as well, too, that takes our engineers that we have that want to learn, that want to stay motivated to go into the direction of the managed public cloud world and spin those investment cycles with us. I mean, I myself, I still have quite a few recs open as we continue to grow. These are talents that we're looking to fulfill for our customers. So we save them the resourcing, the time, and need to figure out how to get those roles into their business.
That's right. Now, as Rackspace has, look at this, career opportunities. That's so good.
Very important. Yes.
Yes, it is. As Rackspace grew in our capabilities, of course, everybody knows us as having our data centers, and we haven't gotten rid of them. In fact, we continue to fill them up more. We have 40 of them around the world. But as we moved our services and support out into the cloud, we realized something very quick because this is transparency mode, folks. In honesty mode, we built a cloud-based offering that looked an awful lot like managed hosting inside of a data center. In fact, that's what everyone did. In fact, that's what everyone predominantly had been doing up until Rackspace last year released an offering called Rackspace Elastic Engineering. And there's going to be a little link come up. You can go learn more about it. And that's what we're going to talk about today is what makes this service offering from Rackspace uniquely different. And let's go from the people aspect. What's different about a team, an Elastic Engineering pod that's going to be different than traditional managed hosting, right?
Yeah, I think let's kind of keep the terms that everybody has attending us. And so when we say a pod, we say a specific number of members in a group, which could protect a engagement manager, many roles that function within that pod. And it's a very narrow ratio that we function with our customers. But being able to take what was the reactive world, just, hey, look, what can I do for you? What can I build for you? But really embracing where a customer's at and where they want to go. We really look at the future, the next gen, right? How do we take a customer who just needs people, time, skills, and doers to meet with the customer week over week to earn that value month over month to ensure that we're moving the needle for the customer in a very agile manner that meets their goals and gets them to where they want to go.
I mentioned on the show yesterday that I've gotten into it a little bit online with some folks on. I know that surprises people because the online is such a calm and peaceful place, but they're
Always.
making statements like, "Hey, in a cloud-based world, there's no need for for managed hosting or even operations because why would you need to patch a server? We shouldn't even be using servers. We should be able to just spin one up with code. Why do we need these types of roles?" What's your answer to that, Ray?
That's the beauty of what we have in the Elastic Engineering world. We're not trying to look for a 12, 24, 36-month engagement. Like I go back to that earning our keep week over week, month over month. It's a minimum 90 days to get into the world with us of Elastic Engineering. And sometimes it goes a little bit past that. Sometimes it means 90 days and we disconnect our services. The goal is to get the customer better, faster, stronger. And I agree. In certain environments, that 24/7 bump in the night may be the team running through their pager duty on the customer side. They just need to get there. They need to evolve. So this is the functionality in the name of Elastic Engineering to have our customers be able to scale up and scale down the number of hours and resources in a group.
Well, let's maybe put some more definition around the term elastic because it is front and center in the name. So it's elastic in the context that you can effectively turn the service off anytime. But you mentioned that you defined what was inside of a pod, and you said you can turn the service up or get more or less. Now, that doesn't mean that you're getting different people. You're always matched to the same pod. But the amount of hours, we measure it in hours that you consume after that first 90 days, because there's a getting to know you time, can be scaled up and can be scaled down. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. We definitely want to, we talk with our customers, we enter in our basic tier, our standard out of the gate, because we want to get to know the stakeholders, assuming that, all of our pre-sales architects and the sales account executives are gathering the correct stakeholders, the right members, what the plan is at a high level. Yeah. We then turn that over to our delivery team and we meet with them, we meet with the customer. And that month one is get to know you. What are the tools? What are the technologies? How do we integrate into their pipeline? We're very opinionated if a customer doesn't have an opinion, so we have that capability. But if they already have a technology they've heavily invested in, then that and keep those skill sets aligned. And that's why it's very important in the pre-sales process is we take all that high-level gathered information. So when we go to the pod team and say, hey, this is what we're looking for, these are the skill sets, they're able to pull the right pod of the right resources so we can embed that customer with that pod.
That's super interesting. You're using, if anyone's familiar with traditional operations or managed services, Ray used the term reactive, and it's very much reactive, reacting on two primary conditions. And that is, did an automated alarm sound, or did the customer enter a ticket or call and say, hey, I got a thing I need you to look at, reacting to that scenario. But in the words and the way that Ray was just describing all of that, we're talking about getting to know you. I mean, what is different when we think about what we're doing for our customers in these Elastic Engineering pods that's different from what we might have done in a managed hosting world?
I'll tell you, you found probably one of the most important and beautiful parts of this offering that I really love. It's that two pizza team mentality, right? We want to take a look in how we, in an agile fashion, leveraging the engagement delivery framework, which you can look up on the Elastic Engineering link that gets posted. But that is a week sprint. So how do we work backwards? How do we show progress? When we get to meet that customer, it's not just, hey, we've designed this XYZ. We know we're going to build this. We know we're going to console that. While there is options for that inside of Rackspace, but just focusing on the true infrastructure cloud native capabilities of these providers, that's where we look to embed ourselves with the customer and do with, and that week, or that engagement manager is really running the show to say, hey, based on our Jira board, we can see that we've made the following progress. Oh, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we're on the next week over, but something has changed in direction. That's okay. That's the elastic. That's the agility. How do we reprioritize to get the customer there?
Right. And that's so different from traditional operations of servers and storage and compute because this cloud-based world is so much more dynamic. The needs are so uniquely different. It's not just maybe in that 90 days, what's the path to getting somebody out into the cloud, but it might be the path to incrementally improving their environment over time because that cloud, It's constantly evolving underneath our customers' feet, underneath our feet. And it's this Elastic Engineering Pod that's looking at these new services, these new capabilities, and going, you know what? This awesome thing we designed for you, 6 months ago, it's as a service now. So let's contribute to the backlog of what's happening on the operations side, and time when's the right time to actually get in and re-architect, re-automate the deployment of that environment.
Absolutely, Jeff. And working within what the Elastic Engineering definition is, and just knowing when our customers have an additional request that may fall outside of that, we have a rock star global professional services team that is absolutely ready to jump in and help cover things that would fall outside of that scope. So we don't have to worry about saying, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we can't do that today. We can say, yes, let's figure out what you're trying to get to. Let's look at our right professional services team and see how we can help them get to that outcome in partner possibly with Elastic Engineering.
So Ray, you bring up a really good point, and we get this question a lot, and that is all the things you've been talking about. I can almost see people scratching their head and going, isn't that professional services? What's different about professional services as opposed to Rackspace Elastic Engineering?
That are operating. So Elastic Engineering for infrastructure. Remember, Rackspace does have more than just Elastic Engineering for infrastructure, but it's specifically infrastructure category. If the example, a customer has application development that needs to happen, or they need specific deep AI/ML capabilities, we would then invoke our professional services team to help come in and scope that. Right. Because as deep as we want our pods to be in skill sets with our customers, sometimes those specific skills have to be relied on from a time engagement with our team. And by the way, shout out to our amazing professional service delivery rackers out there. Thank you all for all the hard work, and the Elastic Engineering delivery teams. They do an amazing job.
They really do. They really do. So, you talk about that deep expertise, and that deep expertise is usually wrapped up around a very specific project. We need to write this thing. We need to create a new application. We need to go through this big level of transformation. Those are the big, I don't want to say waterfall events because now we're talking about development styles, but they're big time-bound things, and it looks we can define what the ending looks like. But in Elastic Engineering, it's how do we incrementally improve this customer's environment and experience in the cloud to meet their business outcomes over time. Let's pop that link back up. If you want to go read more about Rackspace Elastic Engineering, just head over to rackspace.com/elastic-engineering. There might even be a pop-up of Ray's protege, of somebody going to answer your questions behind the scenes, harkening back to your first job here.
That's always, definitely follow up. And, kind of if we focus a little bit more into at a high level, what would define, very similar to the pillars of what is in there. So it's, infrastructure builds, absolutely DevOps, automation, performance management, database management, even all the way down to security management, disaster recovery planning, and plan maintenance. So again, those don't take deep avenues, but having that holistic view, as well as, cost optimization for a customer, because security and cost. And then we get to the infrastructure of the future and the growth, because everybody knows security is number one.
Right.
But if the CFO is staring at it, or the financial team's looking at it, we need to ensure we're helping do our due diligence to truly be customer obsessed and focus on that cost conscious capability.
So that's a really good point, is making sure that it's not just working with the IT teams, and it's in making sure that you're enabling those tech teams to have those right outcomes. Because in this dynamic world, it's super important to ensure that all the constituents, all the business units, make sure that they're seeing the value or understand why there is the spend and why there is the growth. And, I know we've even helped set up Cloud Center of Excellence. I know in some cases we're even contributing member in some of those as part of Elastic Engineering to help make sure there's the appropriate representation there. Guys, as Rackspace Elastic Engineering is this do with approach. It's not the let's lob a ticket over the wall. It's somebody in that delivery team, that pod of 9 who literally is showing up in your stand-up meetings and helping to advocate for the best possible infrastructure possible for your applications. So Ray, what's your favorite part of Rackspace Elastic Engineering?
It's not made to be long-term if it doesn't have to be. I think that was the biggest thing, because you remember from our hardware world, hey, the best customer price is going to be 24, 36 months contract, because we know that hardware will work to refresh it. But when we look at just the services, not the infrastructure, just the services, we've had many companies that come in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and they're staffed up. They've been able to hire, they've got documentation passed, and they feel comfortable taking this, and they'll turn the service off. But just knowing that it's always the ability to come back and turn it on. And some customers just say, okay, cool, we're going to do with and we're just going to sustain on that. We know that the Elastic Engineering Service from Rackspace is a continued cost of operation for them to do business as an operating expense, because we are an extension of their team to help their application development team get to where they need to go.
Right. It's incredible, and it is groundbreaking. There really wasn't anything like it in the world before we released it last April. April is when we released it to the world. There've been a few.
Shout out from
There've been
Monica. Yeah,
some
we picked
newer
that up from
services that
Monica.
people have tried to stand up, and they're using a lot of our words, but we'll just call it flattery, and we're grateful for that because nobody delivers at scale around the globe like Rackspace does. We've got people in here from Dubai, where we've got services there. We've got people here from India. We've got services there. In fact, we've got some rackers from there. UK, talked about Singapore earlier. Rackspace Elastic Engineering is available the world over. Well, Ray, it has absolutely been a pleasure having you on here today, and having you leading the teams that you do to help make sure that you're appropriately getting our customers' requirements to attach them to the right statement of works, to the right Elastic Engineering teams. Really is an amazing service that we have here, and thanks for being the tip of the spear for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff and team, for your time. Y'all have a great day.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon, morning, or evening. I don't know where in the world you are, but we're grateful for you spending a little bit of time with us. And with that, folks, we're just going to wrap us up for another Rackspace Live. Have a great afternoon.